Chike Dozim. Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good evening to you. Speaking, please.
This is Honorable Azuka Charles Wanko from San Antonio, Texas.
Good evening, madam.
Okay. So, thank you so much for coming here. And I think I have a lot of questions to ask, but I will basically go to maybe one or two. Okay. Were you aware that Onyendu was illegally abducted from Kenya? Hello?
Can you be specific to your question?
Was
I aware from what time and to what time?
Okay, so when he was abducted, when he was illegally abducted from Kenya.
Sorry, madam. Maybe you want to ask me, when was I aware that Tony was adopted? Is that what you want to ask me?
Well, either ways, because either you know, or whether when you know, that's still the same thing. Because all of us are aware. I was aware that he was abducted, so you were aware that he was abducted.
Yes, I was aware that he was abducted on the 27th of June when the Nigerian establishment broke the news that I was aware. Yes, I was aware that he was abducted on the 27th of June when the Nigerian establishment broke the news that I was aware.
Did you ask questions to those who were like taking care, or maybe people who usually, board his plane, or people who are, working with him directly? Did you ask those persons? Okay, he was abducted for 8 days, none of us knew about it. He was abducted for 8 days, none of us knew about it. He was abducted for 8 days, none of us knew about it. Did you ask those questions? Did you find out from the people who were supposed to find out what went wrong?
Well, yes, let me answer your question. And I'll give you a background before I answer your question. On the 27th, the news broke that our leader was arrested, was kidnapped. The first person who sent me that news was my deputy, Mazin Chum. He sent it to me and he said, they didn't look at what I saw. I said, don't mind them, this is true and they're nonsense. That was my response because for me it was unimaginable. And then hours later, all the news carried it and then it began to spread. And the shock was deep in me. In fact, when in my workplace for a couple of hours, I couldn't get it. I couldn't make sense out of it. And after I recovered from that shock, I left work. I went home and I called an emergency, EOS Smith. And we began to deal on that matter. And what have we done? What happened? After that day, we said, okay, we will individually make our own investigations. And yes, I called people who are close and who may know. First person I called was the secretary. I called her and I asked her direct question if she was aware and what time, at what date was she or became she have the knowledge that Onyendu was arrested. And bearing in mind that on the 19th, I had a meeting with Onyendu. In the morning during a fundraising, and there was supposed to be a second one with US later, and he didn't turn up to that meeting. So in in the morning doing a fundraising, and there was supposed to be a second one with US Nathan, and he didn't turn up to that meeting. So I asked her, at what time did you come? Because after that meeting that Oyindu didn't come, the following day I called the secretary and I asked her, were you able to reach Oyindu up to this moment? She said, that is probably 24 hours after Oyindu didn't come that meeting. She said, no, she didn't reach. She couldn't reach him, and that this is somehow unusual. I said, okay. The following day again, I called her. That will be the 21st. Were you able to reach Oyindu? Either I called her, I sent the message, but I asked again the following day. She says, no. Then we got the message of Oyindu being kidnapped, and then I called her on the 28th of January and asked her when she became aware. She became aware on the 21st, probably earlier. I assume maybe she knew earlier. But she knew on the 21st, and I asked her, how did you come to know about that? She said she got information from Kenya through a contact, and I said, who is it? What's the name? She gave me a name, first name. I asked, what about the second name? She said she doesn't have it, she doesn't know it. Then my second question was, how did you know this person? She said, when you introduced this person in Kenya to her, because he does that sometimes. Now, she got that information from that person, from that contact. And I asked her, what did you do when you received that information? And she said she contacted Kalonzo and asked Kalonzo if he heard what is going on. And Kalonzo said, yeah, that she should not worry. She should not worry, everything is fine, everything is fine, or that everything is fine, but that she should not worry. And also that Kalonzo asked her not to say anything about this matter. And also that Kalonzo asked her not to say anything about this matter. And also that Kalonzo asked her not to say anything about this matter. And also that Kalonzo asked her not to say anything about this matter. She told me that. I said not to say anything about that. Please, I don't need to be interrupted, please. And the Kalonzo told her not to say anything about it. And I said, okay, when you told Kalonzo, who else did you tell? Why didn't you tell the leadership? Is it not that you? It's not because you don't know who the leadership is when Oyindu is not there. Why didn't you tell the leadership? Why didn't you tell the head of director? Why didn't you tell the members of the directorate? And he gave me a very stupid reason, but I mean, that's for me, it doesn't make sense. She said, at that time, there were attacks on her, and she doesn't know who are behind those attacks. Maybe those also in the directorate, because she believes that Mazi Moru is maybe one of the people behind the attack on her. I said, okay, man, if Mazi Moru is behind, what about the other people? So that argument or that discussion ended there. Now, what I took from that is that she knew earlier on the 21st that Oyindu was arrested. She didn't tell anybody, and she told Kalonzo, and they decided to keep it quiet. I called Kalonzo, and I have to take something to drink.
Okay. So, can you hear me?
I called Kalonzo. I'm calling my dad. I haven't finished. So I called Kalonzo because I'm still answering your question. I called Kalonzo and asked him, when did you become aware of Oyindu's problem? He said, like we had it. He had it like we had it. That means he had it on the 27th. So he lied to me there and then, and that is when my displeasure began with him. But that is a different matter. He lied to me because already the other lady has told me he knew earlier. And what I did completely devastated for people to also hear the same thing I heard. And I invited Kalonda. My intention was to invite both of them, but I decided first to invite Kalonda because we want to hear what he has to tell us, having in mind that the other girl has to do something different.
Can you hear me?
I called Kalonda. I'm calling my dad. I haven't finished. So I called Kalonda because I'm still answering your question. I called Kalonda and asked him, when did you become aware of Oyindu's problem? He said, like we had it. That he had it like we had it. That means he had it on the 27th. So he lied to me there and then, and that is when my displeasure began with him. But that is a different matter. He lied to me because already the other lady has told me he knew earlier. And what I did completely devastated for people to also hear the same thing I heard. And I invited Kalonda. My intention was to invite both of them, but I decided first to invite Kalonda because we want to hear what he has to tell us, having in mind that the other girl has to do something different. He came to this DOS, and before all of us, he lied again that he had no idea until we knew, and all the other rubbish he talked about. So, to answer your question, that is the time I knew about Oyindu's arrest. And for that 8 days, the man was suffering. Some people knew about it. They decided to keep it quiet. Why? For that 8 days, the man was suffering. Some people knew about it. They decided to keep it quiet. Why? For that 8 days, the man was suffering. Some people knew about it. They decided to keep it quiet. Why? I don't know. Maybe Oyindu alone can tell us why. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so very much. You did a fantastic job there. Okay, the next thing is, when you were aware that this lady or maybe Kalonda lied, and then that lady you asked, is she still in position as at this moment?
Which lady?
The lady that you called, is it the secretary? I don't know who you called.
Caroline.
Secretary who? Oh, if she's still at her position as secretary or secretary to
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, secretary. I don't know if that makes any sense. You can't be secretary to somebody who's not there. Who's not there giving you instructions. It's redundant as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, thank you so much. Did you investigate after you gathered all this information? Has there been any investigation or a panel set up since then?
Panel set up? Why will we investigate? We already have our facts. The things are clear. Well, so we know what happened. We know that the leadership became aware the day we became aware of it. We had no knowledge of that matter. That is a fact established by anybody. We don't need a panel to be able to find that out. Now, what we have done is that we said, okay, now we know what the problem is. We must try as much as we can now to concentrate on getting out there, because what are we going to do? These people, the secretary does not exist anymore as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to be wasting strength on making it more popular. Kalonda has also been, people have been told that Kalonda is an officer of IPOB. He has no business giving instructions in IPOB affairs. He has no business at all. And I've told him himself directly, and I've also instructed those who are in leadership to take note of that. So we are doing what we are doing, curtailing their excesses and also not getting fully distracted. So Kalonda is an officer of IPOB. He has no business giving instructions in IPOB affairs. He has no business at all. And I've told him himself directly, and I've also instructed those who are in leadership to take note of that. So we are doing what we are doing, curtailing their excesses and also not getting fully distracted. So the panel issue, my dear, after all these things we have, I don't know if it's still necessary. No.
Okay, thank you so very much. You are fantastic. About the people that called or closed the accounts.
Honorable, please, can I say something before you continue, please?
Okay.
Mazi Chike Doziem, I just heard you say that Caroline said she was away on the 21st, 21. Okay, I got a call. I have intel that Caroline knew hours as soon as our leader was abducted. Carmen Takano also knew hours. So whenever you want to know, I will give you my where the source of my information. So she said on the 21st, she's still lying to you. She found that So I just wanted to say here. So even the 21st, she lied. She found out earlier than 21. And I have information. I can validate that. Okay, just to let you know.
Yes, thank you. Yes, my dear sister. I will appreciate that. I will appreciate that information. Honestly, I will highly appreciate it if you make it available to me. I cannot. Chukabia Mabiami witness wants, like I said, those situations are written, but we will need to make sure that our people still understand at the appropriate time what really transpired. I'm interested in knowing those, if there are any who deliberately conspired to have our lady killed. I'm interested in knowing who they are. So any information you have, evidence you have, please, I will appreciate to have it.